Welcome to this particular lab. I'm going to show you how to configure SD-WAN Enterprise Lab in FortiGate Firewall. I'm going to show you how to configure software-defined wide area network on FortiGate Firewall. Please stay tuned. At the end of this video, you are going to understand how SD-WAN works, how to configure it in FortiGate Firewall, so that this is going to be the building block for the subsequent labs on the SD-WAN. So this is the topology that I have already created to minimize on time. You can see this is the first ISP. This is ISP number 2, that is Safaricom. Then ISP number 1 is Liquid Telecom. Liquid Telecom is on port 1, then second ISP is on port 2. The firewall is connected to the LAN network through port 3, then port 4 is there for the management. So let me configure, access the firewall, set the password, after setting the password, setting the host name. The host name is used to identify the device on the network, SD-WAN underscore FGT. So once we do that, configure system, then interface. We start with port 1, set role, it's a 1, set alias 11 or ISP 1, then set allow access ping. After there, set mode, it is going to receive IP address automatic. After then we go to next, edit port 2, set alias, this is ISP number 2, then set role, it's a 1 port, then set mode DHCP. This is connected to Safaricom, so it will act as the internet service provider number 2. So after having set the mode, then we can set allow ping. Once we do that, next we move to port 3, set mode static, set IP 192.168.11.1/24, set allow access. This is going allow ping, SSH telnet. So after there, set alias LAN, next port, edit port 4, set mode DHCP, then set allow HTTP, HTTPS telnet ping, then SSH. This is going to be my management port. So once you've done that, you can see the configuration. You see port 1, then port 2. So if you want to see the IP address, diagonalize IP address list, you can see port 1, it has received 113, this IP 192.168.1 22.113. That is the first ISP. The second ISP has received this IP. Then this IP address is configured on the LAN interface as the gateway. The firewall port that is facing the LAN is having this interface. Then this IP is going to act as the management IP through which I can access it. I can access the firewall in the browser. So I'm going to access the firewall, then configure SD-WAN. The steps to configure SD-WAN. 1. Configure IP addresses on interface. 2. Create static route. 3. Create we create the SD-WAN zone and add members. 3. We create the static route. Then 4. Create or configure firewall policy. So these are the steps to configure the SD-WAN. So the first thing, I have assigned IP address on the interface. So the next, I'm going to create the SD-WAN zones and adding the members, so that this is going to so those are the IPs for the interface. So these are the steps. So I'm done with the first step. The second step, I'm going to access the firewall in the browser, then configure the SD-WAN interface. SD-WAN zones. I'm going to create the SD-WAN zone and the members. I'm going to move a bit faster. So once you are here, you see after here, we come on the network, we enable DHCP on the LAN interface. So once you are done on that, you come on the SD-WAN, then you don't create a member, you first create a zone, so that once you've created a zone, you'll add members to that zone. So after there, we create a member. The interface will start with ISP1. It will pick the gateway automatic, or we can specify. Then the zone is going to pick that one. So next we create another member. We choose ISP2, then the zone is that one. Specify this. It is dynamic. So you see, the moment I have created the zone and added members. You can see traffic is already passing. So once you are done this, you come here, then create a static route. A static route is used to identify, is used to provide a pathway for the packets to go to a predefined interface. So you create this, then the gateway, you just leave it, then you pick the SD-WAN, so that any packet from the LAN network will pass through the SD-WAN interfaces to the particular ISP. Once you are done with this, you come to create the firewall policy. LAN to SD-WAN. And here when I talk about SD-WAN, I mean the interfaces that are there as a family. So SD-WAN members are just links. So incoming is the LAN port, then outgoing is the SD-WAN port. It is neither going through ISP1 or ISP2. So the source is everything. The source is all. Destination is all. Then everything is all. Then we log traffic. So that is it. So with this, we can now ping the traffic. Ping, especially we allow IPDHCP. You see, the moment you see DORA, it will receive the IP address automatic. It has received 20. So while at 20, we can ping you see, this IP is for the Liquid Telecom. Let's see if at all we can access. You can see I'm able to ping the first ISP. So as we are able to ping the first ISP, we can now check what is happening on the traffic. Can come on the dashboard here. I had already added the SD-WAN monitor. You can add the monitor if it is not there. It is that way. So once you are done with that, the SD-WAN monitor will just help us to visualize how traffic is moving. Not yet, so let's check something here. SD-WAN, you can see traffic is moving through ISP port 1. So let me now check. Let me now send traffic through port ISP. This is ISP1. Then let this one go through the ISP2. You see, it's also working. So as traffic is flowing, now let's refresh here. You see, this one tells you that download speed 856 bytes per second through ISP1. Then this one 765 upload speed. When it comes to this section here, it is for the ISP number 2. So this is how we create SD-WAN. First of all, you create the SD-WAN zone. A zone is used to bundle more than one or more interfaces or more than one service providers. Then after creating a zone, Then you create members. Members, these are just independent links. In my example here, it is referring to service providers. Now they are like children within the zone. You add the members to the zones, and a member can be 1 or 2. You see? So once you do that, there are these sections, there are these rules here. You see? We've got SD-WAN rules, then performance service level agreements. This is always used. SD-WAN will not just provide the failover, but will ensure that traffic will not flow only when the link is dead, but when the link is bad. I mean, when we suspect there is a high packet loss or latency or a jitter, then we can create a rule here that when maybe a user is accessing the internet, he will use a specific service provider because of the bandwidth. And also you can come here, then let me just show you something. You can come here, the cost and the priority. You can prioritize one service provider to be the primary, then the other one to be the secondary, so that when this one fails, this one comes up. But that one has been the common case when it comes to SD-WAN. But in the subsequent projects, I'm going to show you how we can not just concentrate on failover, but also do things to do with the SLA, service level agreements, so that we do not just make service provider or an ISP to be fruitful when the link is dead, but we will just make it fruitful when the link is bad. For example, if the time you are sending high traffic, we can create a service level agreement rule to channel that traffic through a prioritized service provider. So for this lab, I think you've learned how to create SD-WAN or how to configure SD-WAN on FortiGate Firewall. So these are the steps as I had shown you earlier, and we've achieved the steps. So feel free to subscribe to NetLabs Hub as you stay tuned for the subsequent project in software-defined wide area network related problems and all the troubleshooting. In the next video, I'll teach you how you can troubleshoot the SD-WAN, how you can create the rules and the service level agreements. Thank you.